All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's showtime like Kareem Lakers. I make a masterpiece, seem basic. No Meek Millie, but I'm dream chasing. Took the shortcut like Anita Baker. I want the bright lights that you see in Vegas. I need a big house with like 3 basements. Drop an M on the whip, think I'm speed racer. Don't know if it's the Transformer or the Green Ranger. My nigga Mac got the beat banging. Young nigga selling crack as a teenager. Had fiends playing baseball out here free basing. Had me showing off the rings like a Freemason. My mama gone, but I keep pacing. Trying to keep it all together like I need braces. Family calling when they need favors. When I was broke, they was acting like complete strangers. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Rest in peace, the Nippy was the street savior. Got my credit right now, I need acres. Gotta turn your dirty money into clean paper. Trying to own a franchise without a key player. I go through hoes like I weave laces. Tree blazers, let they mama noodles be flavored. Meat takers that be acting like the sacred. You bust in, you would think they on their knees praying. Then I slide like a screensaver. When I'm done, make some scrambled eggs, cheese bacon. Then it's on to the next, I ain't a speed dater. Little bitch ain't gon' hear from me till weeks later. I don't see no things changing. Kids still dodging bullets like they seen Matrix. These young niggas really need saving, but OGs won't teach them that the street's dangerous. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby.
You're
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I think when I went mute, oh, that was crazy. I ain't even pushed the mute button. That
yeah.
was the crazy part. Yeah, yeah, man. Episode 2 of Read the Room with my sister, man. You already know one of the best in this game, man. Jag Queen Boxing. How you doing on this Sunday afternoon, sister?
I'm doing good. There was some interesting fights last night. Had a lit live. I'm doing well. What about you? What we got going on today?
Man, I'm doing great myself. Doing great. Sitting here, been sitting, watching some NFL a little bit, and then looking at the internet with the boxing news and everything from last night after Boots' incredible win in the first round last night, where the man was looking crazy, demolishing Lima. In that in crazy fashion last night. Crazy fashion. Stopped him in the first round. So eh, card that overall wasn't crazy too much. A lot of showcase fights on the card in particular, but yeah, it was cool. And then they had the David Allen fight early in the day where he got the stoppage and everything. And Josh Padley, he got a win earlier in the day yesterday. So on Matchroom. So Matchroom had 2 cards, one in the UK and one in Philly yesterday. So it was a little interesting Saturday. Interesting Saturday of boxing a little bit. And plus the show last night, of course, your show was amazing. Definitely was lit. Great dialogue and great conversation on the show last night for sure. And we here today, man. Read the room, episode 2 right here. And of course, let me salute to who is in the chat so far. Salute to my brother Tim Layton. I see you in the building. I see you, my brother. Salute,
Oh,
salute.
I didn't know we was doing this one live. Okay, that's what's up.
Yeah. So we got let's go ahead and get started. Let's kind of we can just go ahead and kind of go over the card a little bit. So this is the full card from last night, which was of course a lackluster card for real in general. I only watched a few fights from this card last night, honestly. I probably watched the fights up until like from Dennis Thompson on up per se. And Dennis Thompson, he's one of Boots fighters. He won by split decision. Even though I thought he won that fight more clear, in my opinion. That's just me personally. But he got the win last night, and I thought he looked sharp in the fight, in my opinion. Even though him and Sean Diaz, they had a good scrap in that fight. That was a good scrap. And then you got Giorgio Vasoli. I did watch that fight. Vasoli, he dominated that fight where he won by unanimous decision. And then the Guido Vianello fight was kind of crazy. Like, I did catch a little bit of that fight where Guido he stopped him. He won last night, man. And Guido he's coming off the fight where he fought Richard Torres on Top Rank a few months ago and lost that fight. And so he won last night. And this was the co-main event fight with Tamir Smalls and Jose Vasquez was a good scrap. It was a good scrap for
Hmm.
sure. And Smalls he won that fight for sure. And like the two main fights that I was really paying closely attention to last night with this card being lackluster, obviously was Zaquin Moses, Shakur Stevenson's cousin, and of course Boo Ennis. So those was the two main fights that I was really locked in on, really paying attention to closely last night for sure. And just get started. Of course, you see Zaquin Moses. He won by unanimous decision last night in his fight, even though and where he won clear, but he was getting hit with some shots last night, though. He was getting hit with some crazy shots a little bit last
Yeah,
night, sis. What you think about
yeah.
Zayclay last night performance winning by
Um,
unanimous decision?
I like Jaquin actually. I really do. I thought he had really good punch placement. But his defense definitely he needs to tighten up. He was getting hit with a couple of shots. He may have a little chin on him, but it didn't appear that either one of them had any crazy power. But
Right.
overall, I thought that he did well. He still has a lot of learning to do. That was what, a six rounder, I believe. So he definitely still has
Yeah.
a lot of learning to do. But he's on the right path, and he's under the tutelage of his grandfather. So the main thing that I see that's the difference between him and his cousin is he'll definitely get in there and let his hands go. And he's not afraid to engage. He needs to pick up a little bit of the defense. And just be just a little bit more defensively responsible. But outside of that, I thought he did really well. He has some good punch placement. His reflexes seem to be there. He's pretty quick. So Zaquin is all right. I like Zaquin. I'm gonna keep an eye on a little critter. I like him.
Yeah. Yeah, Zaquin, he had a slick performance last night. I mean, just me personally, I don't know what it is with me, and I don't even like to be like this critical so early on because I mean, of course, I know he's a prospect and he's only a handful of fights in, but I'm just not. I don't see like a big spark out of Zay Quinn for some reason. I mean, he's a good fighter, good little fighter, but I don't see like a big spark in him where like he gonna like be able to be great when it gets to like that next level of competition and stuff. Like, I mean, I may be wrong. I don't see the spark in him a little bit more so than like a Scooter Davis, and Caramel Moten. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I don't see like yes, he fought well in the amateurs where yeah he did beat Caramel Moten in the amateurs from what I heard. But at the same time, that shit totally different from the amateurs to the pros. Like, it's a different level now. Like, these guys punching. You ain't got hair gear on and everything. It's a different, it's totally different. You know what I mean? But I mean, overall, with Zaquin's performance last night, though, like it was cool. It was a cool little performance. Like, you know what I'm saying? he showed me some grit with him standing in the pocket and taking some shots and delivering some shots along with it. So I mean, I like what I seen from Zaquan last night for sure, man. And like I've been saying over the last couple of months, is really big on these younger guys, and I'm gonna keep reiterating it. Where it's big to watch out for these younger guys like the Zaquan Moses and the Dennis Thompsons, the Scooter Davis, the Carmel Moldens. Like, no, this is the next generation. That era, they're coming into their own now as well. So, we got to be paying attention very closely to these guys. And, if y'all paid attention to this week, Zaquin Moses, him and Scooter Davis, they was going back and forth on Twitter the other day. And then, of course, Cormel and Scooter was going back and forth last week. So, this younger generation is showing like they definitely want to fight each other, but like it's none of these fights right now between like these guys that I just mentioned is going to happen, and because they're teams behind them. They're not going to set these fights up right now at the moment and stuff. But I can say I did find it real funny last night. I salute to my brother Ringwald Boxing Podcast and my brother Tay in the building, man. And anyone coming in the building, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, man. Hit that like button for sure. Yeah, I mean, help us in the algorithm for sure. You know what I'm saying? Move this content around there for sure. And I found it real interesting since right here with Cormel Molden and Zaquin. Cormel Molden was popping his shit on Twitter about Zaquin performance last night, and this is what he started off with right here. He said, the fact this bum ass boy is only known because of some false sparring claims is hilarious to me. And then he says, I'm gonna put a belt on this little dude. He not cut like that for real. All that amateur shit over with. So this is Camille Moden speaking about Zaquel Moses from last night right here. It says, what you think about these this clip right here for real?
Well, I love when the young boys, start puffing out their chests and they get all inflated. I love to see it. Um, and he's right, as you said, the amateurs is completely different from the pros, so we're definitely going to see. I definitely do think that Carmel Moulton got a little more grit in him than Zaquin. Although I like Zaquin, he may be, I guess, leaning maybe a little bit more towards like the technical side. But as I said before, he doesn't really seem to have much pop on those punches.
Right.
Um, and Carmel, he's kind of a little grittier. He seems to be a little bit more fine tuned. But he does have, well, he only got maybe what, two or three more fights than Zaquin. But
Mm-hmm.
I do love to see it. So you saying you don't know if he's going to reach that peak level? I don't either. I'm just saying for what I see from him now, he seems to be doing okay. We will see as his competition increases how well he will fare because although he did win last night, to your point, it looked like it was a little rough. A couple spots looked a little rough,
Yeah.
but he did pull it off. His I'm gonna give him a few more fights because there's a fine line between still being able to like critique some of the things and then to where things are just this is how you are. So I'm gonna give him maybe one or two more fights before I say this is completely how he is. I think he's still got a little room to improve on some things.
Facts, facts. And of course, after this tweet right here with Camille Moden right here it says, of course, Zaquin, he responds. He responds. He says, you a the. And of course, the man, Camille Moden, he responds back to his tweet. He says, I'm going to beat the F out of you, soft ass buh. And it goes back and forth with Zaquin. Zaquin responds. He says, be yourself, puh. You ain't never been like that. Stop fronting for the internet. And then you got the man, Camille responds once again, says, Ninja, you don't know me. You a buh. And you ain't never been like that. You got clout off your cousin, and that's it. Watch when it happen. I'ma break your goofy ass.
Well, damn. Okay. I mean, I don't see any lies here. He definitely does have the eyes on him because he is Shakur's cousin. So that's 100% factual information.
Yeah, it was definitely. It's just crazy. Like I like the energy from these young guys. I ain't gonna lie. I like the energy. And Camille, of course, he was trolling Scooter the other day, and Scooter, he like, hey, I ain't gonna do no back and forth with y'all on the internet. Tell y'all teams to set it up, which y'all know y'all teams ain't gonna set it up. That's where Scooter at with, which I love it. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, see, this is a whole different animal because Scooter ain't finna play with him. They probably because they all maybe around the same age. How old is Scooter?
I think Scooter's like, I want to say she's 23. I want to say 23, I believe.
Mm,
Yeah.
I don't know how old Carmel is or is it Quinn, but
Camille
they're
is
around the
like,
same age.
I want to say Camille's 20. I know Zaquin's like 19, I want to say, I
Quinn's like
believe.
19. I think he's like
Yeah.
19. Yeah. Well, they're all in the same age bracket. So, like I said before, all these boys need to be getting in there. Him, the Abdullah Masons, the Schofields, they're all roughly the Emiliano Vargases, they're all roughly around the same age. How old is Bam Bam? Oh, he's at a way lower weight class than them though, right?
Yeah, yeah. He had the lower weight class. He had 115, I believe. Yeah, 115. Yeah. Yeah, he's at
Oh, well, never
115.
mind
And
on him
then
then.
Bam is like in
But the
his,
rest of them.
mid 20s, like early 20s, like 23, 24. So
But well, then the rest of them definitely need to get in there and mix it up for sure.
absolutely. I agree 100%. And like I said, I'm loving the energy from these guys. Like I'm loving the energy. Like they definitely, bringing that energy to the game. Where these young guys, yeah, they popping they shit. But we're like, these teams of theirs, they're not going to make any of these fights try to happen anytime soon because they're trying to build these guys' status and build their resumes up. And they see big money fights down the line among these guys. No, not even like to add Dennis Thompson in that in that category along with him too, because I like what I see from Dennis Thompson as well on Boost Fighter. I like him as well. He looks pretty solid. Yeah, they
How old is
did try to
he?
rob him last night.
How old is he?
Dennis Thompson is probably maybe 20, 21. Like, he's
Oh,
still young,
okay.
maybe 19. He probably 19, I want to say. Probably 19 or 20.
Hmm.
So he's
Okay, yeah.
young too. Like he's in that same realm of those guys as well, sis.
Okay. Yeah, let them all mix it up.
Yep. My boy Tay said they tried to rob Dennis Thompson last night. Yeah, man. Yeah, it was nasty work. It shouldn't have been a split decision in that fight at all. Then my boy Tay said Zaquin Moses ain't that. Ooh, we. Yeah, man. I, I like what I'm seeing right now, but just overall, I'm not high on Zay Quinn personally. That's just me. Then my brother Ring Rob about the podcast. He said Kermel and Zay Quinn going in. Whoa, let's get it. Yeah, bro. Yeah, brother. Like, let's get it. And Tay said Scooter just turned 23. Yup, 23. That's why I was like, yeah, Scooter 20. I know Scooter 22 when I first like we started counting. So I know his birthday was coming up, and I was like, he's 23. So yeah, he's definitely 23. My brother, shout out to my brother Isaiah. What you doing? He said Scooter will beat the dog shit out of Carmel. Let's say quit. Hey, I'm in belief too, right? Like among them three, I think Scooter's the more seasoned and more solid one out of them three. Like he got more control with his defense. He don't really get hit with too many shots. He's really solid on the defensive end, but he's coming in there loading bombs and he's setting his punches up very well, his combinations and everything. Where like he definitely providing the offense. He's bringing the thunder on offense for sure, and it's a lot of thump behind both of them hands from Scooter Davis. I gotta say that for sure.
Yeah, they all need to get in there and mix it up. But nah, I don't think any of them are ready for Scooter. Scooter, one of them ones. I don't think they're really ready. The only one that might possibly be able to get with him may be Cromell. I think he washes Zay Quinn badly. But I still see him being Cromell too as it stands right now.
Right,
But
me too.
I
Me
think he'll
too.
hurt Zay Quinn real bad. He'll hurt Zay Quinn real bad.
Absolutely, sis. Yeah, I'm right along with you on that. I got Scooter over all of them guys right now. Camille is probably the second one up. Then I probably had Dennis Thompson ahead of Zay Quinn, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, like Gwen is
I had
last,
him hit
but
him.
yeah, he is last. You know what I'm saying? He like I said, I want to see how he gets better. I can already tell ain't a lot of pop behind them punches though.
Yeah, hey, ain't no fire behind them punches. It's a part of the family, sis.
I was just thinking that. I was just thinking that. All we
It's
need
in the
now is for him to have hand.
blood.
All we need
It's
now
in
is for him to have some hand problems.
the
All he need now is some hand problems, and they twins.
blood.
They twins.
Hey, they fuck around, be on the way. He be up there healing his hands and shit, chilling and shit with his girlfriend and everything too, and, and all of that. It's in the blood. All right, man. So let's go ahead and get to the main event. Of course, man. Last night, of course, um, Boo Ennis, Uzma Lima last night. It was short lived, but I got a clip and hopefully they don't demonetize it. We gonna see. We gonna test the waters out with with Tim on this video. So I got a short clip of the fight last night, of the short lived fight from Boo Ennis last night. Man, oh man, man says. And
Mm,
that's why I said ain't even much to talk about. It was a
mm.
one round wham bam thank you ma'am out of there last night for Bucetis, man. He looked it crazy. He looked crazy last night. Matter of fact, I gotta let me show the clip one more time just to, you know what I mean, just to let people see this again because this was crazy. Mm, yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he got him out of there early, but he did get a little reckless in there. He was throwing flurries, you know what I'm saying, after he had got him hurt, but they're still kind of dangerous even after they're hurt. He needs to clean that up slightly. Although he did what he was supposed to do, he has to be a little bit more defensively sound than he was last night. Because if that was somebody else, somebody a little bit more seasoned, or I mean, Lima's supposed to be seasoned, but he's from what, the UK or whatever. But
Yeah, from
let's just
Portugal.
say it was, yeah, let's just say, it was against somebody else a little more technical. He Boots himself could have got clipped, but overall, I thought it was amazing. I mean, he switched to southpaw. That right uppercut was nasty. Oh my
Mm,
God. Oh my God. It's like
man.
with Boots, I feel like it's hard to gauge like his level of stardom, you know what I'm saying? Because he hasn't really been challenged. And I know we put people in front of him that are supposed to give him a challenge. And he may do that very same thing continuously throughout the 154 divisions. So we really just won't know. Last night he did what he was supposed to do. He was a nigga in the ring with you that don't belong in the ring with you. You get him out of there early. Shout out to him. I definitely feel like the 154-pound division is definitely on notice. We can tell by how Oscar had his little meltdown, how Lou DiBella had his little meltdown, So
Hmm.
I don't know. Lima just he didn't appear to know what to do with Boots. You know what I'm saying? He had no answers. You know what I'm saying? I feel like the second time he got knocked down, he jumped up too quick. He was not fully there yet. You could tell if you look in his eyes, they were still kind of like dazed all around. So
Facts.
but shout out to him for taking the fight. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Let's not forget all the niggas that led us to Lima, because people tend to forget that. There was a few other people that ducked out of the fight before we got to him. He definitely wasn't a first choice. So let's keep that in mind too when we start to judge Boots and all this other shit, because I know it's coming. So let's just keep that in mind too.
Facts is yeah, I was sitting there like this is crazy, right? Just terrorizing this bed. Like early, I'm hoping there's gonna be a few rounds. He get a few rounds in, you know what I'm saying? Get to test the waters out, but I mean, just coming in, honestly, I remember people were saying the other day, they was like at the weigh-in, they were like, Boots looked like he was drained. And I'm like, I don't see what y'all seeing. Boots didn't look drained at the weigh-in at all to me. Like he looked fine. I was more curious to see how he was going to look hydrating up the next day of the fight. That's how I was looking at it. And he looked very well, as far as the hydration last night and looked filled in and he was solid, man. Like the power looked it crazy. Um, and can't even say so much about the performances, the body shots, like the body work of Boots always been amazed with his body work that he does in fights. And he switched from, orthodox to southpaw, and that's where, he hurt him when he went to southpaw. When he switched into southpaw,
Mm-hmm.
that's when he went
Mm-hmm.
crazy, like there in that sequence. And he just went crazy on Lima last night. He was just overmatched, had the crowd going bananas in there in Philly. Like I know my brother Dean, he was at the fights. He enjoyed himself last night, man. So salute to my brother Dean, man. And it was just amazing atmosphere when you see those type of moments. A guy from your home squad, your hometown, spark somebody up. So I know the fans of Phillies was, they was definitely thrilled last night with Boots because they know what they got within this guy, man. He's really the goods. Like Boots is really the goods, man. And I mean it really hurts it hurts me to see like him get a lot of the flack that he gets at times, sis.
Well, if we're being honest, I mean, yeah, no, definitely they got one in him. But I'll tell you what, if I had a drove all the way down there for 2 minutes, honey, I would have gotten that ring. Me and Boots would have had to squabble up. 'Cause they
Hey,
drove longer than that damn fight lasted. I'm telling you. I was getting ready to get up and go to the bathroom. I'm like, all right, yo, it's round one. Let me just see what's going on, and I'm gonna get up and go to the bathroom real quick. Yo, I'm like, oh my God, it's over. Like, nah, but Boots definitely is a very talented young man. He's getting a lot of hate, just like a lot of these other guys that people want to keep throwing in front of him. Who can he beat? He ain't fought this one. They claim her names, but we'll see. Hopefully, Virgil Ortiz is next. I know Oscar was saying some crap. Him and Lou DiBella. Oscar, I saw he say there was no contract made or no offer made to fight Virgil. Virgil is still a man at 154. Some other crap. You know how Oscar give it up to
see
him just
that's my
keeping out his
thing though. You
claws.
saying that though, but then you on a whole nother case said that that's the fight that you want to make and stuff after this Lubin fight though. So that's my problem. Like, yeah, they having too many miscommunication among this whole situation. There's too
Well, let
much
me tell you.
miscommunication between this.
What I've seen, and just maybe let me know if you see it this way or if I'm missing something. With Oscar, I feel like the Golden Boy quote unquote stars are in like a high class protection league, right? Like, so although they may be talented, Oscar is not ready to put them in there with somebody that will seriously challenge them and throw away that mystique, right? Because we already just saw what happened with Zepeda, and he was puffed up. Zepeda was puffed up like he was supposed to be some type of, threat or some type of golden boy, whatever, boogeyman. But if you look in his resume, he was fighting niggas with lopsided resumes anyway, 24 and 14, 30 and 29. You know what I'm saying? So it's not hard to maintain that 30 and 0 or 28 and 0, whatever his resume was, with all those knockouts if you knocking out somebody who's already been knocked out 15 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So not saying that's the situation with Virgil, because Virgil looked like he could really thump, but we don't really know. That's why I really hope that they get it together and make this fight. I hope that they, stop playing around, because him and Eddie are known to bullshit. Let's be real.
Facts. That's definitely a fact. So I got a clip from I got a couple clips from after the fight from Boots and Eddie Hearn, and then I got like four clips actually. But we're gonna play the first one with Boots right here from what he said after the fight.
Going head next. I know he got his fight coming. He focused on his fight, and if you don't win, I'll fight Lou. I'll fight the winner of that. But I want Virgil Ortiz next. And if we can't get Virgil Ortiz next, I heard that Baby Cub was calling me out too. Charlo, he can get it next. Fundora, What's his name? Bartram. The IBF champ, he can get it. Everybody 154 can get it. I'm missing somebody. Who I'm missing? Xander can get it. Anybody at 154, I'm belt chasing. This my division. 154 is mine. I'm on tour.
That nigga said I'm belt chasing. I'm on tour. Talk to him.
Yes, sis.
Talk to
Yes,
him.
sis. So,
Talk to him.
that's my thing. Now, I seen somebody was like, man, I seen somebody on Twitter. They was like, man, he ain't even sound like he was confident about when he said those names. I'm like, shit, my man up here, he sound confident to me. The thing is, Boots is not a talker, and we all know
I was
that.
just about to say that Boots has like a speech issue. Not trying to be funny or nothing. It just doesn't feel like his words are very like I don't know how to say it, but he's not comfortable with like a lot of public speaking. Hence why he doesn't do a lot of
Right,
interviews.
right, absolutely. Like he's a guy that he don't do many interviews as it is. He don't like to really speak publicly, but him putting those names out there in the atmosphere, he don't call people out. Boots don't really make he don't do a lot of call outs, but he put everybody on notice right there last night within that statement saying, yo, I want Bakram, Virgil, um, Fundora, Baz Baru. I want all them guys. I want them titles. I want them
I'm
titles. This is my division, and this is where I'm at now. So I want all of those guys, and all of those guys got what I want. So I want all of those guys.
I'm gonna take it a step further. If anything, he really put Eddie ass on notice. Do your damn job. These are the fights that I want.
Mm,
Make them happen. Because we can't run around here
absolutely,
saying
sis.
saying Boots is ducking without putting any onus on Eddie. Ain't he the goddamn promoter? Ain't he the one with the money to or make these offers? So we can't
Oh
on one
wait,
hand
wait.
say Eddie
We,
Hearns is
we got Eddie
the
here.
best guy.
Look at watch this right here with Eddie Hearn. How happy this dude was right here, sis.
Now he's 28 years of age. This is the future of the sport of boxing. This is the pound for pound number one in the weighting. There is nobody at 54, 60, and dare I say 168 who can beat this guy. We're coming for everybody, one man included, but we've got to earn that right. And I'm telling you now, Oscar De La Hoya tweeted before this fight, there's only one man at 154. Line them up and he'll piece them up. Virgil Ortiz will get destroyed by Jaron Ennis. I will bet the house on it with Oscar De La Hoya. It's the best fight in boxing in America. It's a beautiful fight. He's a great fighter. But this guy is another level. I'm telling you, you have got 8, 10 years of greatness from this guy. He lives the life. There is nobody like him in boxing. He's going to go up. Anyone, Ortiz, Mertzalayev, Fundora, Abu, Zayas, he will destroy them.
Bring them all.
First of all, didn't you hear me yesterday after this fight when you called me and I said Eddie Hearn looked like he had a Woody in his stance talking about he
Man,
looked like he was
boy, that
so
boy, he
excited.
gets so excited about Boots. That's
He
one thing.
do.
But
He
how you want to
do.
see? But you want this is my thing though. Sis. This was what's so funny about that. Think about how excited he is when after Boots
Boots
fight
fight.
compared to Shakur's.
Wait, but remember when he picked Boots up the last fight and he was like running him around the ring and all of that shit? You remember? What was that, the
He
Stanionis
loves
fight?
him some Boots. He do love Boots. He love Boots. At this point he loves some Boots. He
Yeah, he
said
loved
he
Boots.
chased this man. He was waiting for him to get off that deal with Cameron Duncan, and like he was waiting for him, and he wanted to sign this man. So that's one thing I would say out of Eddie. He definitely pursued Boots for a while. He, but the thing is, what reason are you? What's the reason behind you wanted Boots? Do you want Boots because you generally fuck with him as a fighter, and you want to really upgrade and showcase his talents and really put him into that pound for pound status, or you just trying to make a dollar off of him? That's my question with Eddie Hearn with
Well,
Boots.
I think it's a mix of both. I think the more Boots goes on to have dominant performances and wins, he loves them more. I don't know how much time they spend with each other, but he does, like you said, there is a difference in the way he looks at Boots versus the way he looks at Shakur, and there's a difference in the way he talks about him too. He seems just a little bit more enthusiastic when he talks about Boots because Boots is a product that he could actually push to the forefront and get some sort of return on his investment. Let's just be honest.
Absolutely. With the talent and the performances, like that performance, like right there. that Boots put on last night, it's a performance to where it may scare some of these fighters from fighting them.
I
And
was
we've
thinking
seen
that
it
too.
before with Boots, before with certain performances like the Villa fight. A lot of guys at 147 was even there, even go near Boots' weight around that time.
I was thinking that same thing. I was like, damn, you thought you was having trouble getting fights before.
Man, that type of performance will really scare some guys. They be you start sending some more contracts out. These guys they ain't signing shit. They like, oh, we want a meal. We want 2 million to get in the ring with him. Because they know that man Boots he's a pure savage. He's a demon in that ring. Like both like he's a real switch header, a real true switch header. He switched from
Mhm.
both. We seen it within the first round where he was orthodox and then he switched to southpaw
That
and
when
he
he switched to
packed
southpaw, that
Lima
right
up last
uppercut.
night.
Oh my God.
He's
That shit.
nasty, nasty.
Yeah.
And I understand the fans, they like, man, we want to see him do that against these guys. But some of these guys got to take the initiative in fighting Boots as well. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at with it. Just you got to be fair across the board. You can't pick and choose who the fuck want to fight and all of this shit because we know yes, there was times Virgil and Boots was supposed to fight and it didn't happen in certain cases on both ends. So like you just can't put all the harness on Boots for the Virgil shit. It's been on both of them guys.
Yeah, because I believe the last time they were supposed to fight, Boots was, Virgil was hospitalized for what was that, rheumatoma or whatever that was related to his dehydration for draining himself down to fit in 150, 147, which is why he moved up to 154. But then, once he got to 154, he started trying to call him out again, but Boots was on a mission at 147. So a lot of it has to do with timing. I'm pretty sure some of it has to do with, like I said, Oscar and Eddie, Johnson measuring. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully
Facts.
we'll get this fight in 2026.
Facts, man. Facts. That's what I was looking like. This boy Eddie, hey, Eddie, you don't got no choice now. You got to push for them fights now, man. And then here go Eddie right here after the fight, right here in the ring too.
Oh my, oh my. Hey, Oscar de la Hoya, there's only one man at 154, Virgil Ortiz. Come and get some of this. Come and get some of this. This is the pound for pound king, and I'm telling you, he's going to destroy everybody. Let's go.
Eddie don't even know how to pop shit properly.
Yeah,
Whatever, whatever, whatever.
boy, demon time right here for the man Boost and his last night, man. Crazy part. Let me read some of these comments with some of the people's in the building.
Lima, he really just didn't know what to do once he got hit with that clean uppercut. He was just like done from there. You know what I'm saying? Um,
Man,
and it's crazy because he's not a guy that, it's like an easy. I mean, Boots made it look easy, but he's only lost what one time, and even that was like a decision. It wasn't like he got
yep,
knocked
it's
down,
the
knocked out. He's
McKenna.
never been
Yep,
knocked
Aaron
down.
McKenna.
He's never been knocked down, knocked out, nothing. You know what I'm saying? So,
Facts. And
yeah.
then read my boy Isaiah, what you doing? He said Bread Man gotta be smoking if he think Boots gonna do the same shit to Virgil what he did to Lima. That motherfucker Lima is dog shit. He proved it last night. Ugh.
See, there go the
I
comments.
ain't gonna lie, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I and I seen Boosie say this in the interview after the fights last night. Virgil was tailor made for Boots, in my opinion, bro. Just like Bosey said last night. I mean, Virgil, he can thump, he can fight, but I think Boots is on another level than Virgil. That's why we just want to see that fight. Like with Virgil, he got that come forward style. You know what I'm saying? And Boots is versatile, athletic, powerful, young, all that. Switch hitter, man, it don't look good for Virgil to me. I'm just saying that I don't think
And that's
Virgil
and
got a
that's
chance to beat
and
Boots.
that's
That's just me.
that's the point that I was trying to make the other day when I was like, y'all saying all these big names. DePater was supposedly a big name. You know what I'm saying? And not to say that Virgil can't thump, but these puffed up golden boy big names, they don't really be big names. Oscar's just trying to keep his stable relevant because Ryan just lost. You know what I'm saying? Kid Schofield ain't really ready for the big boys yet. He had a nice win over Tevin Farmer, who was in 3 wars back to back and lost them. You know what I'm saying? So he's
Right.
looking for his next big golden boy to prop up. He's trying to keep his label alive. You know what I'm saying? Not like
For
that, but
real.
he's trying to keep
For
his
real.
label
Ryan only
stable
got one
alive.
more fight
So
on the deal with Golden Boy, so shit, his next fight,
yeah.
he done with him.
Yeah, so he's definitely looking to get some shit in order now. I'm not sure if maybe if he don't get to fight Virgil next, I don't even know if they'll put Xander in there with a boots. You know what I'm saying? So I don't really know. You know what I'm saying? It's we're gonna see. We're gonna definitely see.
Oh, Tay, you said something real good and valuable in there because we're gonna get into this conversation with Oscar from last night. So this is Oscar from last night saying not to be an ass, but can someone please educate the educator who is
I saw
Boots
that.
fighting tonight?
I'm
And
such a
then
hater.
after the fight, he tweets out, he said, only one name at 154, and he tags Virgil Ortiz's name right here. So you got this right here from Oscar De La Hoya. And just to add more context from the Golden Boy family, I want to do this. This is Virgil Ortiz's manager right here. And he was on Instagram. He was popping shit about Boots. And this is what he says right here.
That nigga has a whole 4-page letter
L-
on Instagram. This was real nasty work. I said, tell me you and your feelings without telling me you and your feelings.
Man, like for real. So you got this is what he says. He says, now that everyone has woken up and the alcohol and nasty cheesecake sandwiches have left your system, he tags Eddie Hearn name. He said Eddie Hearn has had a proper cup of tea and a nice run and realizes Kevin Rooney would have seriously taken out that guy faster last night as well. Him staking the entire Matchroom Company powerhouse name and his own behind Andrew Luna victory. Think that's his name, and sorry if I'm off. And that's his biggest fight to date and win. And that special glow we all saw last night and one of the greatest promoters of our era should only stay with Anthony Joshua, who resume truly deserves it. Shame on you for sharing that kind of emotion with anyone other than AJ. But let's look at what a real fight looks like that's coming up. The type of fight a real fighter takes that's searching for greatness. When a promoter like Oscar De La Hoya knows what he has, he must test greatness, develop it, and he is one of the best in doing this with Make a War and prepares that greatness not for one great fight, but to stay great at that level. And the kind of fight he took prior to this one as well, in which you would never dare to have to put a Israel Mazrimov near or even think of, let alone Lubin or Mean Machine, is what confidence he has in his fighter because he was that guy and built the next guy after him. Ortiz versus Lubin would give the fans and the zone boxing what the sport deserves, a real fight with guys who have fought championships and world class fighters with names we all know well. There is and has been no meetings, no Crown Wolf a third time, no offer made, no discussed, nothing planned, nothing agreed to, nothing signed, nothing even cared about, but November 8th in Texas live on the zone for Team Ortiz. So don't fall for a single other thing as Ortiz will do what Ortiz wants before and after, and he never goes backwards. The only possible, just maybe, could be a little chance is if his excellency, Turkey, and Brain Trust decide this must be done, like Canelo and Crawford.
So basically, what he's saying is we don't want to pay for that fight, but if somebody else want to pay for it, then they'll fight. Is that what he's saying?
Pretty much. He
Okay,
wants
I
he
thought
wants Turkey to put the fight on. Pretty
yeah,
much.
that's basically that. That's what I got out of that. That's what I definitely got out of that. Um, yeah, well, we'll
This
see.
is my thing. Why does Turkey have to put the fight on? That's
I
my
mean,
question.
really. That's what I was literally just thinking.
Let's
Like,
start
is
there.
Golden
Why
Boy
does Turkey
struggling?
have to be involved for this fight to happen?
Is Golden Boy struggling?
Oscar,
I mean,
he got a bag, right? Shit. Well, we already know Eddie said he want to make the fight happen in America. Why does Turkey have
mm-mm.
to be involved for this fight to happen? This
Eh,
activity right here from Virgil Ortiz's manager is starting to become real cringeworthy because you're
and
speaking for Virgil and Virgil's not speaking for himself, and y'all just showing away this fight like the fans don't want to see this fight at all.
not more to the point. This is why that Turkey has been able to slightly monopolize the game because we have lazy ass promoters and managers like this who would rather put the bill on somebody else's plate instead of doing what they're paid to do, which is put on fights.
Absolutely, absolutely, and it makes no sense of him typing all of this just
Oh
to
my
tell
God,
us
he was
that
emotional.
oh, well, it ain't been nothing signed, nothing offered, anything, and Virgil, he's gonna do what he wants. Like they are crazy big A side. Like what the fuck going on with Virgil now? Well, somebody wake me up and let me know when the hell Virgil start being this big ass A side over a lot of fighters. And
He's
somebody
not, and
wake me
this
up and let me know if he is the A side over Bruce Ennis, because I don't even think he the A side over Bruce Ennis.
and I don't see how he would be. But here's the thing, right? I told you that goes back to what I said. That Golden Boy witness protection program, they puffing him up like he's some sort of superstar. Let's bring shit back down to reality. Virgil ass ain't never been no champion. Okay,
Yeah,
like I
he's
said,
an interim champion.
he interim. He ain't never been no full champion.
And he ain't even
Ain't
vying for the full champion spot. He ain't. It ain't like
ever,
he's pushing the
never,
fight Fundora. You the interim champion. Why didn't he
never.
make his position, use his position to get the shot at Fundora?
That's what I'm talking about. You see what I'm saying now? This is what I mean by like they puffing him up. The nigga been an interim champ for like 8 goddamn years. Like what's happening?
I don't know how that works, sis. That's nasty work.
That's what I'm talking about. They puffing him up. They trying to create this some sort of mystique around him as if he's some sort of boogeyman. But to your point and to my point, the nigga ain't never been a full champion, nor has he went out there and tried to become a full champion. It's like this nigga is a side baby and happy to be one. Like I don't understand it.
Facts. And I don't even understand it. Why you handle business against Lubin? What's the problem with trying to make a fight with Boo Sanders after y'all both fighting around the same time? It's perfect timing. Like, what's the issue? I don't know what's the big issue from that side over there, from Team Virgil over there in this
They try.
particular situation.
But if you pay attention, right, to what's been happening over the last few months, it's always some issue why Virgil can't fight nobody. Xander was trying to get a fight with him. You know what I'm saying? Golden Boy was acting like he was too good to fight
They
Xander
tried
in
to
Puerto
they
Rico. Like
big dog Xander in this
they tried to
situation, even
big
though
dog
Xander's the
Xander.
champion.
They trying to
Like,
big dog boost. This is what I'm talking about. They trying to create a mystique, and if you're not paying attention, you won't be able to see through the fog. But I see exactly what Oscar's doing. Oscar ain't fooling me, not one damn bit.
I mean, this is the thing. He talked about Boots wouldn't fight Madrimov, but dude, you fought Madrimov after he got beaten up by Bud. So like,
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm
you
saying?
fought
The
him
fake
coming
is
off a
fake.
loss. Like you ain't fight him coming off a win. Yeah, he put on a strong performance against Bud, but he came off a loss though. You ain't fought him coming off a win. Yeah, you fought Boychuk, which was a close ass fight, which a lot of people wanted you to run that fight back, and you ain't even want to even run that fight back. The motherfucker
Nope.
Boychuk had Virgil marked up like a New York subway in that motherfucker.
Hmm. Like I said, Oscar ain't fooling me not one damn bit.
Yeah, like it's just nasty work. Like Virgil, they team, all of this shit that they doing. It's looking really bad on their end. Like you got one team saying they want the smoke, and now you saying Virgil talk about we do what we want. We
That
ain't
says
never
to me
done
you
no
don't want
smoke
the
and stuff.
smoke.
But bro, when the public wants this fight and they're pushing for y'all to fight, when y'all the only side that's saying that y'all ain't on shit, then what we talking about? We damn near at this point, it's gonna get to a point where like, man, we don't even want to hear Virgil Ortiz say Boo's name if he ain't trying to fight that nigga for real.
I don't want to hear Virgil Ortiz say no champion's name because so far he hasn't done that. You know what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about with this golden boy protection and the puff up era. They puffing him up like he's really something, but to me, he really ain't got no leg to stand on unless he's fighting a no name because any of the name guys have belts. You know what I'm saying? It would be considered
Right.
the A side against him. Why they steamrolled over Xander and tried to little boy him? And I have people telling me it's because Virgil's a bigger name when Xander's a goddamn champion and Virgil is an interim. Miss me with all of that.
Facts. Facts. Yeah, and then here goes another, like an hour later, Virgil's managers added again on Instagram.
Oh,
He
he's
posts this
disgusting.
right here. So he says, Virgil will get destroyed by Jerron Ennis. I would bet the house on it. So this is a quote right here from Eddie Hearn. And then he has these other pictures right here, guys. And then this is what he says. He has another
He
long
on his 4-page letter
message.
shit.
He has another long message on his screen. So it makes sense. Eddie Hearn does have quite a few houses. What's giving away a fourth one going to do for him? Won't even know it's going. I might hold the record only second to Frank Warren here with the 3-0 record and each guy's backyard as well with big fights. Lord knows all my houses could fit in Hearn's one guest house or bathroom, but I think I can come up with a house to bet, and he can just put his guest house or a rental in Manchester the snooker players use. I'll take it. Turkey, can you back me up here with one of your houses unless Oscar De La Hoya puts the Vegas mansion up? You can't lose, Oscar. Look at the data. We could have Eddie momentarily homeless as you can match his sprawling dream estate that is gorgeous. I love Matchroom. Kevin Cooney, Sean Palmer, Frank Smith. You guys get in your houses or one of them in this also. I need to know because I'm going to open up a real estate investment that Donald Trump will want to invest in when I'm done if this fight ever happens. I
What
love
the
and
fuck is this
respect
guy
all of you
talking
guys,
about?
and you know that, but I might own half of Manchester after I raise this investment money for all these houses. This is
He said a
Virgil
whole bunch of
Ortiz
nothing.
managers saying all of this.
He said a whole bunch of nothing. A whole bunch of nothing. I don't understand how we got from renting houses, selling houses to Turkey. Now we back in Manchester. Like what? What are you talking about? Basically, you want Turkey to put the fight on. We got that already. You said that in your other 4-page letter.
Man, man. And salute to Shell Moore, Too Rich Boxing in the building,
They,
and
I
my boy
believe that.
Autism Boy in the building, and my brother Yamin. I see you in the building. Crush the Legend in the building. And my
Y'all
brother
snatched up
Tay,
like
Tay,
nothing.
I ain't calling the Bengals game today. I'm gonna be watching it though. I'm gonna be watching it, but I ain't calling the Bengals game today though. But I'm definitely gonna be watching it for sure. And all right, so just moving forward though, sis, with 154, just let's kind of scale out 154 a little bit, just the landscape of 154. Obviously, we know um Virgil Ortiz is fighting Erison Lubin coming up November 8th. And then we
Hmm.
have of course we just got the fight
The
canceled with
cancellation. Yeah.
Fedora and Thurman recent
Hmm.
for Fedora having a hurt hand during camp,
Hmm.
which is I'm definitely sad about that. Even though they're talking about pushing that card back to January possibly, from what I heard. So the
Yeah, I
new
heard the
date
same
probably
thing.
will come in January possibly for Fedora Thurman. And so
Hmm.
they're not canceling that car all the way out. They're just rescheduling it and pushing it back to a later date. So you got that going on. Of course, Xander Zayas, he's looking for a fight for his first title defense in Puerto Rico right now.
What Bachram got
Man,
going on?
Bachram, him and Josh, like the talks with Josh Kelly kind of dumbed down. I kind of wonder
Hmm.
when that purse bid is coming up for them because they should have a purse bid coming up. So you got that going on for us with Bachram. Like he's kind of like in the loop, kind of just sitting there and waiting and stuff. But then I heard Bachram, he got something in the works in a sense, probably too possible, other than Josh Kelly. If Josh Kelly ain't on shit, And
Do we know
so
if Charlo's coming back?
Charlo hasn't really said anything in recent time. And of course, they got speculation with him coming out top of
I mean,
2026.
he put out all them
So
pictures. You mean just you just
this
running
is
your
the
mouth?
IBF right here. So this is the IBF rankings right here, which they just
Let me see
updated the
something.
IBF literally
Let's see what's going on.
yesterday. Of course,
Hmm.
they don't have nobody at the 1 or 2 spot at the IBF. So they got Josh Kelly. He's pretty much the number one contender for the IBF at 154. Then you got Colin Wash. Colin Wash,
Did he just
um,
win?
yeah, he just won recent time. And of course,
Hmm.
Boots, they got Boots at 5. Usama Lima was at 6. Giovanni Santillan is at 7. Brandon
Hmm.
Adams, he just beat Serhii Boychuk on that Bud Crawford card with Canelo. He's at number 8. Nikita Zoo, he just fought about a month ago. He just won. They got him at 9. Then they got this other guy, number 10. I ain't gonna say his name because I ain't gonna jack it up. They got Ardrell Holmes. He lost to Erickson Lubin in his last fight on Pro Box
Hmm.
TV. He's still at
Yeah.
11 because he's been at 11 for a hot minute still. And one surprising thing though that I don't like is the fact that they took my dog Charles Conwell off the mat from Ohio. That he ain't on the IBF rankings. He was at 12 last month, and he's not even in the IBF rankings anymore at 154, which is definitely nasty work for sure.
Mm.
So like this is the landscape right here at 154 for the IBF right here, which is of course, we've been waiting to hear what's up with Bakram and Josh Kelly because that's the fight that they mandated after Erison Lubin ended up taking
Yeah.
the fight
With Virgil.
with Virgil,
Virgil.
which they took him out of the IBF rankings completely right there. And of course, Lima he'll go down in the rankings after getting washed by Boots last night, of course. And right here, this is the W.
WBC.
Yeah, this is the WBA right here. So of course,
Oh, okay.
Baz Baru, he's the full champion right now. Charlo is champion in recess for the WBA at 154, but it's
Marcus
no news
Alio.
indicating that he's going to, shoot for a Baz Baru right now. And of course, Duran, he won the interim title last night by beating, Usama Lima last night. So he's in position to, go ahead and push for a Baz Baru right now if he wants. And which is, if I'm assuming right now with no boots, the
That'll be
way that
smart.
Team Virgil moving, it looked like Team Virgil don't want no smoke for real so much in the top of 2026. So if I'm Boost, I'll go ahead. I'm not mad if he go ahead and get that title off of Baz Baru. That's just
Yeah,
me.
no.
I know a lot of people will get flack for the fight, but I mean he's a champion. He got to get that strap. We got to get that strap up off him. Fans that get flack for the fight if he fights a Baz Baru, but y'all got to understand he's the full champion. So shit, we got to get
And
that
I don't know
title up off
why.
that guy.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Like, so we'll give him flack for fighting a champion, but we want him to fight an interim champion. Somebody who's not even a full champion. We thirsty for him to fight a
Yeah,
interim, but not a full champion. Is that where we're going with this?
the double standards once again.
This is
Right,
crazy.
right. Like Boots is trying to do what a lot of you fans want him to do, but then y'all give him flack if he was to take a fight with a Baz Baru,
Yeah,
which
I
is
mean he's
nasty
trinket
work.
chasing. Ain't that what y'all like? Y'all like them trinkets, right? He trinket chasing. What's the problem?
Like it's nasty work. So you see with the WBA, of course, um, not crazy too much movement in there. Of course, Eunice Celeste, he's at 4. Isaac Luceru, he was supposed to fight on the Fundora Thurman card, which is that fight got postponed, of course. So he's at 6. You got Israel Mazimov at 7. Lima was at 8 going into the fight last night. Um,
Yeah.
Ismael Flores right there. So just some notable names right there for the WBA at 154. And like I said, I don't mind if Boots decides to take a fight with Lima. Hey, I mean take a fight with Baz
For
Baru for that
Bass.
full
Yeah.
champion, get that belt.
Hmm.
Hey, go get it, man. Go get it. I know he gonna get the hate for it because it's Boots Ennis and they want to see him in the particular fights. We understand it, but he gets that belt up off him. Then those other champions is in position where they don't have no choice but to see him.
Yep,
Y'all
yep.
gotta
And
think
I
about
think
it in
that's what
that
they're doing.
aspect.
I think that's the route that they're taking. We're gonna box them in.
Box them all the way in. Because why straight all right, why me go straight for the IBF, I gotta be with the hydration clause and all of that. And when I can go ahead get this WBA, then I can fuck around and fight Bakram. We unify up. That makes more sense than anything to me.
Yeah, it's more than one way to skin a cat, and that's what people got to realize. You know what I'm saying? Even if he take the long route, you know what I'm saying? He's still on his path. He's obviously a person that's about the accolades and the belts and shit. So he's gonna go after them, even if he got to take the scenic route. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it's okay. The
Facts,
road
man.
less traveled
And
is less
then
crowded as well.
this is the WBC right here
Oh my God, it's so
at
tiny. You don't have to read the
154,
names.
which
That's
they
fine.
got the whole like
It's
1 to 50 on these. Kind of crazy. But I'm gonna just do the top 15 though with
Yeah, you
them.
don't have to read them because this thing is so small. Hold on, let me make my screen
Yeah,
bigger.
because
Okay, I
they got
got
the letters printed small on there. And I'm like,
you.
why they print they letters so small on here? So
I have no
of
idea.
course, no, Boots is number one contender. Of course, Virgil has the interim title. And of course, Sebastian Fedor, he's the champion right now. Of course, he on standby right now because he got a hurt hand in the fight in camp before Thurman. Of course,
Sure.
so you got
We'll go with that.
Bakery Samaki. He's at two. Keith Thurman's at three. Colin Watts is at four. Erickson Lupin is at five. Brandon Adams is at six. Sergey Boychuk is at eight. He's still in the realm after losing to Brandon Adams. Israel Mazamov at nine. Usman Lima was at 10. Going into the fight last night. Tim Tszyu was at 11. Jorge Garcia, the guy that fought Xander Zayas, he's at 12. Charles Conwell from Ohio, my dog, he's at 13. Josh Kelly's at 14. So you got that's the top 15 right there, pretty much for the WBC. And you just looking at the landscape, like of course, Brandon Adams and Surrey Bolchuk, both of those guys are Zuffa boxing fighters. They both just signed with Zuffa
Yeah.
pretty much
Mm.
during that
Wait a minute.
whole
Who I knew about Boatchuck, but who's the other one?
Brandon Adams, who beat Sir
I gotta write him
Bolchuk.
down.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right.
he's
That's right.
with
That's right.
Zuffa. Colin Wash, of course, he's with Zuffa as well. I'm not impressed
Hmm.
with Colin Wash. That's just me. I ain't that
Yeah.
crazy about him. I don't think he like that 100%. That's just me.
Mhm.
That's just me. I mean,
Mhm.
I I would definitely be intrigued to see like them had put Colin Wash in there with my dog Charles Conwell. He'll give him a good ass fight.
You know they don't want to work with them Ohio
You know
boys.
they ain't gonna do that shit. They ain't gonna do that shit. They ain't doing that because Fernando Vargas Jr. is not that good, man. I already knew that going into that fight
Yeah, I
anyway.
think the
So
best brother is Emiliano. That's probably
yeah,
the best brother.
Emiliano's definitely clearly the best out of the Vargas brothers right now for sure. Like that's not even up for debate. And then you got the WBO right here, which is of course Xander Zayas. He's the champion. He's still looking for a scrap right now for his first title defense. Um,
For his hometown fight, right?
yeah, for his hometown fight, which is the name that been popping out there mainly been Giovanni Santillan with him being at
Centillion.
154 and being on top rank. That's been the name that's been
Mhm.
popping up heavy, but
Easy fight
they
to make.
haven't locked anything in with it yet, though.
It's an easy fight to make.
Yeah, I
And
mean it's a
either way the
relatively
belt stays
easy fight
home.
to make for sure. And I mean,
Either
of
way the
course, I
belt stays
mean,
home. It's a safe fight.
and you got some of the same similar names like Josh Kelly's had one, even though he's not. That was the fight they popped his name in there too with him being number one. They like says Xander may shoot to get Josh Kelly, but Josh Kelly's in position for IBF and a WBO title shot, and he's not taking upon it as the B side in either fight. And I understand with the Bacron situation, fighting Bacron doesn't bring a lot of money to the table. It's high risk, low reward fighting Bacron, even though he's a champion. But somebody got to
Yeah.
fight Backrub for that fucking title. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? I don't think Backrub's that terrifying for some of these people to be shying away from fighting them for real. Honestly, I don't know what the deal is. I understand the money aspect of it because they see no money in fighting Backrub.
Well, maybe we can get Boots to fight with him.
Man, that's what I would love to see. I know Boost. What you are like we said, sis. They're looking to unify. They want to
Mm-hmm.
get one of those straps. That way,
Mm-hmm.
shit. Then Backrub, we come to the table, we unify. We ain't got to worry about no claws or none of that shit. We get to be good. We get to be good straight up. For sure.
Facts. I
Salute
mean,
to
if
my
I was
dog
Eddie
Cash
Hearn, that's what I would
Sports.
do. If I was Eddie, that's the route I would take. You know what I'm saying? I do
See,
a boost, whatever his name is,
people say Boots
and then
is
go straight to
ducking.
background.
Like he playing it safe by going through the WBA. That's what a lot of people been saying though, sis. And I'm just looking at the WBO. I mean, Jesus Ramos is about to fight Shay Mosley when they do reschedule the Fundora Thurman card at 160. So he's not in the 154 round for real. I mean, ain't really too much change. Like it's a lot of smoke up there. But like I said, for Boots in particular, a lot of people, even including Ring, look at Ring magazine last night, sis. They posted this. They said the fight to make at 154.
Exactly.
Ring,
Exactly.
Turkey himself is pushing it. And we know Ring is controlled by Turkey Galaxy.
Yeah, that's no secret.
And then this was I found this funny too though, sis, right here. The man Boots walked up to the man Lima and gave the man some cheesecakes after the fight.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, you beat the nigga ass and then you give him cheesesteaks after the fight. Send him
Oh
back
my
to
goodness.
Portugal with an ass whooping and some cheesesteaks. That's some nasty work right there. That's some nasty work.
That's some savage shit right there, Boots. Damn.
Demon. Hey, I love how Boost plays the Undertaker music when he's coming out, all of his fights.
He was a little late last night. What
Just a
he had
little
a mouth?
sidebar. I like that shit. That shit's hard.
What did he have a little wardrobe malfunction last night or something? He took a minute to come out.
I don't know. I ain't really paid too much attention to too much. Like I don't know what it was, but he
Yeah.
definitely did come out a little bit late though. Like when they because the song was playing for a little minute, then he came out.
Yeah. Well, it took him long to get to the ring, then it took him in the ring, so whatever.
Too rich, man. He said Boots can fight, but don't have a lick of personality. Hey, man, this is personality, man. You beating the dude ass, then you feeding them cheesesteaks. I don't care. That's personality to me, brother. I'm sorry. That's personality right there. But I get what you're saying, though. Like, I get what you're saying. We was talking about it earlier. It's more so like Boots. He's just all business, man. He just about the business, bro. He's just about about the
Uh,
fights, man, about handling this business in the ring and getting paid, going the fuck home.
yeah.
And let me see what else. So, all right, so you ready for this next topic, sis? Because we
Let's
about
go
to shake it
ahead.
up a little bit with this one.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
So salute to Boost Ennis, man, for sure. Packing shit up, man, and for sure. And I know I'll be having some more content with Boost this week on the channel for sure, talking about Boost for sure. Um, Giving my man flowers, man. Boost Ennis, man, one of the best in the game, man. And I feel like we're right now where Boost is at. Like, yes, we want to see, these next fights, fighting these champions and getting them straps, doing what he wants to do in the sport. And we stand behind Boots 100%, man. I'm supporting Boots and been covering him for a long time. And I definitely want to see him, show his true worth and show his true talent in these big fights, man. I think it's really is I know he feel it's detrimental. Eddie Hearn should feel that it's detrimental to get it done. So it's time to, put up or shut up now. Like, you got your one tune up it? Let's go ahead and see. Hey, if he fights a basketball rule, the fans shouldn't slander Boots Ennis for fighting a basketball rule because a basketball rule is the full WBA champion at 154. So he get that strap off of him, then he can go place and unify up and fight these other champions and some of these other top contenders that won't smoke. You know what I mean? Like he's putting himself in that position and better position. And I think a lot of people gonna put that narrative that he's using the WBA to hide from fighting all in these other sanctioned bodies and fighting these other fights, which I think that narrative is bullshit. I think it's corny. It's a corny ass narrative for real. It truly is. So we go ahead and get to we got something different right now. I wanted to lay a foundation. This is something different, and this is right here with the boxing game says, was we didn't talked about it for us fighters, where it's a lot of fighters that you know has amazing talent, but some of them not getting the opportunity, you know, within the sanctioning bodies, within their promotional companies for other various reasons. And you interview one of them, Elijah Pierce. He's one of them. A guy that has a great name within the sport around that division at 126, and he's fighting on overtime right now, but not getting some of those big opportunities to fight some of them other bigger names within that division. And tonight, I wanted us to kind of go over a guy in particular that is in that same particular situation where he's independent, even though he signed on to a promotional company though. But this guy right here, he's been one of the top rated fighters among the 130 and 135-pound division over the last few years, but has not had the opportunity to face some of the bigger names among both divisions.
Mm,
And we can go ahead and bring it up right here.
mm.
Mr. Aberbill.
Mr. Albert Bell, talk
So
about it.
this kind of a new segment, something that me and Sis gonna be doing within the Read the Room show right here, where we gonna kind of bring up some of the fighters that's less knowledgeable, that's very talented within the sport, but not getting some of the bigger opportunities that the other bigger names are within
Less
their
known. Hmm.
divisions.
Less
And
known.
Albert Bill is a true defining person of this right now. The man is 28 and 0, nine knockouts. He's fighting currently in the 135-pound division. He's ranked in a couple of sanction bodies right now. The main sanctioned body that he's shooting for is in the IBF currently right now. And you just see, the resume from Albert Bell right here. He just fought recently. He fought Keith Hunter and
And
um uh,
one.
and won that fight clear by unanimous decision in that fight. He done fought twice this year in Ohio and Toledo. Salute to my brother Marcus from Ohio Runs Boxing, by the way. Let me go ahead and shout that out and start that off while we talking about my brother Albert Bill. And he's been active. Of course, Albert Bill was signed during the top rank, but he ended up parting ways from top rank in 2022. And I want just to build foundation into a little bit insight of Albert Bill. I got this article and I want to read this article to y'all right here about Albert Bill right here. And this is from Ring Magazine. So it said Albert Bill to campaign at lightweight. There are guys at 135 that ducked me at 130. Hopefully that cycle changes. So he said Albert Bell has given up on anyone of note that looking his way in current weight division. The ring has learned that the unbeaten contender will now try his hand at lightweight. From a physical standpoint, it makes sense for the ring's number 10 junior lightweight contender to add 5 more pounds to his 6 foot frame. And exact time frame was not specified for his lightweight bout. And just by the way, this article is from a few months ago. By the way, just having more context to this for a storyline for the storyline for this. So it says he will then hope to seek out those who also moved up in weight. So going on, he said, I'm excited to move up to the lightweight division. Bill told the ring. There are guys at 135 that dug me at 130. Hopefully that cycle breaks. I definitely want to be a part of it and in the mix with the best. It said 135 is where all the smoke is at. So I see you all at 135. And Vic Green, Bill's promoter, shout out to my dog Vic Green from Post Boxing out there in Ohio. Said confirmed to the ring that the four major sanctioning bodies, the WBA, the WBC, IBF, and WBO, were all notified of the team decision on far as Bill moving up, which is no Bill. At that time he was the number six with the WBO, number 12 in the WBC, and number 14 in the IBF, which currently he's up in the IBF and all of those rankings now. And the lack of support from the four alphabet crews has hindered Bell's ability to land notable fights. It was an issue even when Toledo, Ohio's product was signed to Top Rank before the two sides amicably parted ways in early 2022. Bell has largely fought on shows promoted by Green's Post Boxing in Toledo. He's landed on August 2023 OTX Overtime Show in Atlanta, a fight opportunity was kicked off his current three-fight knockout streak. There was there was no return call. However, his last two fights have been quick hits in Toledo versus recognizable but faded names Jason Velez and former IBF junior lightweight titleist Jonathan Romero. And it says the junior lightweight division not only remains spread out in terms of the best willing to face each other, lightweight is bursting with young, hungry talent that is a scenario that eventually work in Bill's favor. It's no secret I was the guy to stay away from at 130, said Bill. From my current view, most of those guys at 135 are not afraid of taking challenges, and that's what makes boxing great. So just adding more context into what Albert Bell was saying pretty much. Albert Bell was campaigning at 130 and he was on top rank. And a lot of the fighters at top rank around that 130-pound division, some of them guys that was top in that division that was on top rank, they weren't trying to fight him. And I got a little more context to that of me speaking about that. And let me go ahead and pull this video up speaking about that. And y'all be shocked at some of these names that's involved with this, just
I'm
to
not
add more
shocked.
context.
And then sometimes it doesn't work. Like for instance, it didn't work unfortunately for Barboza when he was calling out Teofimo all this time. It never panned out. But
Albert Bell.
Albert Bell, another guy, we had him all this time. Another kid took every fight,
Man.
And guys, and I don't want to mention the guys that we still have to this day. They turned Albert Bell down. Champions.
How's that work though? Why do you cut ties with the guy that can't get the fight and keep the guy that's not taking
Because
the fight?
nobody wanted to fight him. It wasn't fair to Albert anymore. And now you see he's in the same situation. He was trying to go to DeBello's, trying to go to Hearn. He's trying to get fights. Nobody wants to fight the kid. Who wants to fight a 6'1", 130-pounder? It's a hard guy to fight, man.
Nah, and let me tell you.
May the best man win. Okay, all right. Last question is a upcoming bout.
That's the champ right there.
Yeah.
Duke Reagan.
Okay.
2020 silver medalist. It's my guy, Cincinnati, Ohio.
Yo, shouts out to my man Ohio runs boxing.
That's my guy, Marcus.
Yes, shout out to my brother Ohio runs boxing, by the way, man, for sure, man. My brother, man, for sure. On the clip right there. That was Brad Goodman from Top Rank speaking about Albert Bell saying that they had to part ways from Albert Bell because they couldn't do anything justice for him because the top guys he mentioned, champions within that division at 130, they didn't want to fight him. They didn't want to take the risk of fighting a guy that's 6 foot, no, at 130 pounds and a long rangey guy with a little bit of power and got some great skills. What you think about it, sis, on that?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely an unfortunate situation. I appreciate the fact that they were like, yo, go ahead somewhere that maybe you can find some fights because we can't find none over here for you, instead of just putting him on the shelf and letting him get rusty. So I can respect that aspect, but I have the same question as I didn't see who that was. They were a little like more in the background that said, why cut the guy who can't get the fights instead of the guy who's declining the fights? You know what I'm saying? Like that to
Facts.
me definitely didn't make any sense, but I understand it's the nature of the business. I feel like that for a couple of these guys. You know what I'm saying? If especially if they are low, high risk but low reward. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's almost like you kind of got to be in the middle. You can't really showcase your skills because then it's like you're gonna scare a lot of competition away.
Absolutely. Absolutely, sis. And with the whole situation with Albert is Albert's a guy to where like he's very humble about the whole situation. He's not, being outspoken so much to where like, he's crashing out about the, situation it is. He's handling the situation well. Even though he know it's definitely a frustrating situation where you're one of the, the top talented guys within the 130-35 division, and you're not able to get some of these bigger money fights and bigger names and accomplish the goals that you want by wanting to get some of these belts and stuff within those divisions. You know what I mean? So it really it's really crazy. And I got another clip too, sis, with Brad Goodman as well right here. So let me go ahead and play this one right here. Salute to my brother Ohio Runs Boxing and Ness out there from the boxing voice on this one too as well.
Because then I get labeled as the Shakur hater, but I heard you offered Shakur, what's the kid from Ohio?
Albert Bell in the bubble.
And he turned it down, but he's on interview saying he never turned down a fight. Bell tells me
Maybe it never. Listen, fighters don't turn down anybody. It's their representatives.
So there was an offer.
Listen, I love Jamel Herring too, but he was offered Albert Bell. Now, whether it got back to Jamel Herring, that I don't know. But
don't throw it on Herring. Were they both
no,
offered?
They were both offered the fight.
Okay, Shakur and Herring were offered.
Albert Bell, another good buddy of mine. We had to release him because nobody wanted to fight him. And we left on
to be clear, Shakur didn't take the fight. Or his team.
The team turned it down. They wanted
shout out to James Prince.
And they had other options. But there's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean that they're scared of Albert Bell or Jamel Herring's scared of Albert Bell. They're representatives. I mean, that's who we go to. We don't go to the fighter directly. If we went to the fighter directly, fighters would fight anybody.
For sure.
The Albert's Bell credit, we gave them those opportunities, but we just couldn't make them. We proposed the fights, and the other guys, wouldn't take it. But Albert Bell took every one of the fights that we offered him.
Hard question coming at you like a fastball. Is that why Navarrete took super champion status, to avoid Albert Bell?
Like I said, he can be offered the fight, but the representatives have to take it. Now, you can't blame a guy like Navarrete, for not taking a fight like that. He'd rather go an easier route. Albert Bell is a tough out for anybody.
Herring just confirmed he's right. My team was offered a fight, but they chose Oquendo because I was getting ready for Frampton, who has a similar stature. I won't sit up here and lie.
Yeah, and it's not like Jamel turned it down because, if I went to Jamel and said, yo, you got to fight Bell, he's going to do it. Fighters fight. That's why they have representatives and managers, to make that final call.
I got to talk about my guy. Tell me, we about to get a press release. Ernesto Tito Mercado
Sis, powerful right there, sis. What you think about that
Yeah.
clip right there from Brad Gubby right there?
There's a lot of things to unpack in that particular clip, right? So first of all, shout out to Brad Goodman with his word placements, and definitely shifting the responsibility on the management team instead of the fighters. So I kind of agree and disagree, right? Like, so I don't believe that all these fighters will just fight any goddamn body. That I just don't believe, right? Some of them will turn down opportunities when presented with them. However, I do understand that business is business, and sometimes your management team will make a decision based on where they think you are in that said business, right? Based on
Right.
your trajectory in that business. So I completely 100% get that. But it goes back to what I said before. You can't be too good, or niggas just ain't gonna want to fight you. You know what I'm saying? People's managers and other people's promoters and handlers are in these crowds, and they see what you got going on. And if your name comes across their desk, because really it's their business to see what's going on with everybody, but if your name comes across their desk, they're gonna be like, ugh, I'm kind of in the middle of building this
Mm-hmm.
guy's reputation. He got a little buzz. I don't really know if we want Albert Bell to shut his buzz down right now. So this is really just like it's gonna be one of those things where it's like you see Albert Bell on somebody's resume, and it's gonna be like, oh, he ain't fighting nobody if you're not familiar with who this guy is. You know what I'm saying? He's a
Right.
real problem, and a lot of these guys and their management teams know it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I hope he definitely gets the opportunity because it sounds like he definitely, what I'm saying, somebody that we definitely need to know more about. And it sounds like he needs to be up here holding one of these belts instead of some of these niggas that we got holding these belts now. But I want to
Man.
go back to something that was said previously, maybe on a conversation that we had prior to this about how some of these boxers do not manage their own careers. So I just kind of want that to sink in as we heard Brad Goodman say two and three times their management team, their handlers, or the guys who manage them. Things like that is
Right.
important because a lot of these guys do not have control over their own careers. Hence, they could, like he said, it went to the management team. So maybe Shakur didn't even know he got an opportunity for Albert Bell, although I suspect he does. As Jamel Herring just confirmed, oh yeah, it went to my team. So you known that prior. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure that their team's responsibility is also to discuss the opportunities that come across their desk. So that is very interesting and very powerful right there.
Absolutely, sis. I agree with you 100%. Like that, what you said as
Mute your
far
TV.
as with
Mute your
Brad
TV.
Goodman. Yeah, yeah. With Brad Goodman, he said something very valuable where he was speaking about it wasn't Shakur himself, it was his teams. Basically, when some of these situations, that's why I be trying to tell some of these guys when it comes to the business with negotiations with some of these fights, these fighters, some of these fighters don't be actually scared of, you know, the guy that they're trying to get, these guys to fight. Like, for instance, like an example, I don't believe Anthony Johnson was ever scared to fight Deontay Wilder, but Eddie Hearn, he's Anthony Joshua's handler, and I felt, in my opinion, that Eddie Hearn shied away from making that fight happen a long time with Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. That's just my opinion on it. And it works like that within the business. You got something to say? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and that goes back to kind of what we were talking about last night as well, with the whole, Virgil Ortiz earlier today too. Virgil Ortiz. I don't believe Virgil Ortiz is afraid to fight Boots, but I kind of think that Oscar kind of wants to dance around this and draw this out as long as possible.
Right, and maximize his bag as much as possible too, as well. That's another thing too with some of these situations with some of the fighters' handlers, whether it's their promoter or their actual manager, to where some of these guys they want to build their fighters, up much as possible to where when it is time where the pressure's on and you done fought everybody and you have to fight that one guy, it comes to where you got to put your guy in there and maximize the bag at that point. You know what I mean? And I think some people, handlers, they're very careful on who they want to have maximize their bag with certain particular fights because they know the styles as far as the matchmaking, etc. On certain fights and stuff.
Hmm.
Top Rank is the best at this. They're the best at knowing, like, they're very confident in Brian Norman to beat Devin Haney right now. You know what I mean? Like that's why they like, hey, we're backing Brian Norman Jr. right now behind this fight because we're very confident in him to beat Devin Haney, and you know they got the best matchmaking in the game. Look at a lot of the fighters that they built up in recent time, and with Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, Bud Crawford. Like you look at some of the fights that they've had, and on their resume and stuff like that. Like and then you go with PBC and these other companies. A lot of these companies put their fighters in particular fights for them to learn and get experience and develop for a reason. You know what I mean? That's why I don't be wanting to crazy shit on a lot of these fighters' resumes when I sit back and look at it in retrospective. But when we have these conversations, when we have debates with resumes and stuff, it play then we start having different conversations to where it may not go in a lot of people's favor and stuff because a lot of people look at resumes different from the way we do.
Well, I think that's an interesting point, right? And I think that that's obviously always going to be a hot button topic, because a lot of people don't want to read the room, right? Because not only
Absolutely,
are these
sis.
boxers just boxers, they have a whole team of people surrounding them that pretty much tell them what to do. And I'm not going to sit up here and just completely shit on boxers' IQ, but let's be honest, they pretty much do what they're told until they get themselves to a position to where they take control of their resume and the rest of their career, right? So it's a thin line to me because we don't want you, constantly fighting tomato cans. And then when you get in there with somebody that you probably should have been in there with kind of years ago to learn their style and correct whatever mistakes you could possibly make, you're a little late, i.e., Edward Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of guys with
Absolutely.
puffed up resumes because their handlers and their teams are trying to maximize the dollar.
Absolutely, and it comes down to exactly what you just said, sis. Where they're trying to maximize these fighters' dollars as much as possible. Look at Fundora, why he vacated the WBO to fight Tim Tszyu. What I'm saying, in a rematch. You know what I mean? Samson and PBC, they felt like the biggest bag for him at the moment was to fight Tim Tszyu in a rematch rather than fight Xander Zayas for the in a mandatory fight where he was going to end up defending the WBO and the WBC. And they vacated the title where Xander, they gave Top Rank a layup. Fundora, he was the one on like he was on record. I played it in my show a couple days ago where Fundora said that he felt the WBO and top, Top Rank is heavy influence with the WBO, where he felt like after he fought Cordell Booker, boom, they put the mandate on Xander right after that. And what I'm saying? Like, damn, y'all didn't even get to let me get a break. Like it ain't been a month. Damn, 2 weeks later after I have a fight, y'all mandating this shit. Like that, it just shows the how crooked the business is in so many different angles. And it ties back into this particular topic that we talking about with Albert Bill, where it's not even in depth. Albert Bell, his situation is so sour, sis, to where, of course, we had the situation where, like, yeah, they offered him to fight Jamal Heron, and then you seen in that clip where Brad Goodman, they was talking, and Jamal Heron, he confirmed to the boxing voice that yeah, they declined the fight because they was taking an easier fight at the time. He confirmed it, and around this time, this was, around 2023 right here. And then this was something that right here, this was real wow at this moment because Albert was really at this time when he was at 130, Albert was campaigning at 130 and it was a slew of fighters at 130 at that time. That was, and a lot of them was around one at top rank. So of course, Albert Bell was number one, at one point, and this actual graphic right here. This is in September 16th, 2023, right here, and this is from my brother Ohio Run Boxing. He said Ohio has another number one mandatory from Toledo, Ohio, Albert Bell, and his opportunity is coming very soon at 130. So you see him right here. Albert Bell was number one in the rankings right here at this point. And you see,
That's
you got guys
crazy.
like Abraham Nova at three. No, Leon
Mm-hmm.
Wilson at 5, Oscar Valdez at 6, no, Eduardo Nunez at 8, Henry LeBron at 7. You see those guys with those names on there, and a lot of those guys were all top ranked guys, right? So fast forward here even more, right here, to add context to the situation, and that you got this graphic right here of Charles Conwell and Albert Bill right here for my brother Ohio Rose Boxing. And he was saying these two are, these two guys, Charles Conwell and Albert Bill, is getting in position for mandatory title shots. So you see them right here in both situations in the WBC and the WBO, where Albert Bill he was at number 2, and you got Charles Conwell at number 1. And this is in 2023 in June, as far as the date around this time. And the crazy part about all of this, after a while, they wiped when he wasn't able to get certain fights that Brad Goodman mentioned with like Shakur Stevenson and Jamal Heron at 130. They wiped Albert Bell from the rankings at 130.
That was trash. I just want to go on record saying that that was absolute
They
trash.
literally wiped Albert Bell away from the rankings, sis, from 130. And because these guys that top ranking Brad Goodman, like I just announced, they were trying to make these fights, and these guys wasn't trying to fight him. And it wasn't the actual fighters, like Brad Goodman said, it was their team, it was their handlers. And it's because of the risk. They're looking at Albert Bell as high risk, low reward. I'm not going to make a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money fighting you, and you're a high risk, and you have the size and the talent to beat me. We're not going to put that on the line right now at this very moment when we're trying to build up as well. Because you have to think about it, 2023, around that 2022 and 2023, at that time, Shakur was making a transition from 130 to 135 at that time,
Mm-hmm.
and which is, a lot of people believe that Shakur moved to 130 to get away from fights like Albert Bell, Ashaki Foster, and those guys. And you think about it in retrospective, like I said, it wasn't on Shakur's team, like Brad Goodman said. I mean, it wasn't on Shakur, it was on his team. It was on Jay Prince and Josh Dubin, his managers. They
Yeah,
chose the
that's
route to go up to 135 and fight Yoshino. They chose the route to, after that, go ahead and fight Autumn Haru Tayan for their last fight on Top Rank on the deal.
mm-hmm.
They chose to fight Kid Austin on their first. Well, my bad. Let me my bad. Let me rewind. They chose to sign with Matchroom and fight Joe Cordina, and then he ended up getting his hand hurt, and then he ended up signing up to fight Kid Austin after that. They chose for that. They chose to where we're going to fight Williams Zepeda pretty much, and he's our mandatory, and we're going to take this fight. It's all upon that team, and just to even add more context, even before the deal, when the man Shakur was a free agent, they chose
Mm-hmm.
to not engage in preliminary talks and more negotiations in a fight with Tank Davis in 2024 after Lomachenko got out of negotiations with Tank Davis. Jay Prince
Mm-hmm.
and Josh Dubin, they chose that. They chose not to fight Albert Bill when the fight with Albert Bill was offered to them.
So it just appears that they don't really want him in tough fights. Is that what we're going with?
So in the midst of this, sis, the Shakur fans won't go for it, but if you want to, like you just said, we being honest, and we're reading the room here. We're clearly reading the room very clear. Shakur team is being very careful on the fights that they want to take for Shakur Stevenson. And Aberbill was one of them. Nasty work, sis. It's nasty work to really digest and think about it in retrospective. It's real live nasty work. But his fans won't see it that way, though. They won't never see it that way. And that's just the midst of it, for real. And like I said, at one point with Albert Bell at 130 when he was on with Top Rank, he was at the top of the sanction bodies. You seen it? I showed it up here. This was the WBC right here. This was WBC. No, this was the WBO. Actually, my bad. This was the WBO in the rankings. High in the rankings in the WBO. Charles Conwell as well. Both of these guys were getting dug by certain fighters within their divisions to where they didn't get certain opportunities. Of course, Charles Conwell now, he's on Golden Boy right now, and which is he has one more fight on his deal currently with Golden Boy. And I just showed y'all and talked about it earlier at 154 how Charles Conwell, he was ranked in the IBF for a couple of months and he's not even in the rankings anymore. But they have him at number 13 currently in the WBC right now. And at this time, when certain fights wasn't upon for Albert Bill as well, they wiped him off the map from the rankings. And he had to fight other fights and stuff to get back in the fold and get back in the rankings and stuff. And and it just shows y'all the struggles that some of these fighters that's has extreme
Go through.
great talent. Some of them don't get the opportunities because some of these guys don't want to fight guys with particular styles and for certain particular reasons. And this Albert Bill story that we bring into the table tonight is something that we wanted to really push out there and show to y'all that this is what some of these fighters go through in boxing. Yeah. What you think, sis?
Nah, for sure. I don't think that, it could be explained any better. This is definitely what a lot of fighters go through, like I said before. High risk, low reward, or, it's like you can't be too good. You almost got to be like, not mediocre, but you got to be like, okay, in order to guarantee yourself more fights.
Right. And it's nasty
It's
work just to sit
unfortunate,
back and think
really.
about it because the sanction bodies play games with the situation. Then you got the promoters and the no the promote like the managers. They play games with the situations along with the sanction bodies, saying, "Oh, yo, don't take him out of the rankings. We ain't even having him in the rankings. You know what I'm saying? We don't want him to be close and even be in a position to fight my guy." They like the game is so dirty where they man. That's why like the sanction bodies with that whole TKO situation says they really made this shit so hard on their behalf because they've done so much scat business over the past 100 some years within this sport to where you got guys like Turkey and Dana and TKO and Zulfa trying to revise this, this Ali Act because of some of the scab business that they had. Their talking points against the, Ali Act is all upon the sanctioner bodies. That's why they saying we ain't gonna, acknowledge the sanctioner bodies. We're acknowledging the Zulfa belt and the ring belt, and that's it.
And that's exactly why I said what I said that with Virgil Ortiz's manager crying in Turkey. It's like you want somebody else to do your job. No wonder they about to take over. No wonder. Literally, it's no wonder because look at you begging Turkey to make that fight when you and Eddie Hearn and Matchroom can sit down and make that fight with no problem. There should be no
Facts.
problem.
Should be no problem. And like I said, sis, no, you got situations with the like Eddie Hearn. I heard him last night at the Boost press conference, and which is I think I
Oh,
can't
hating
wait for.
hard. You heard that?
I
Hating
really wish I
hard.
would have got the clips of that. I didn't get the clips of that, but I heard him say was something that was real, no, really, no, mind-boggling for me, where he said that I'm not trying to revise the Ali Act. I'm not trying to, have my own boxing league. Like he went at Dana and them heavy in the press conference last night, where he was like, we're trying to, build and do what we do over here and do our thing. Which is, with that whole to add more context a little bit to that situation, though we didn't get to talk about it as far as matchroom boxing. They're signing, a lot of their, they're giving up away a lot of their stake, a lot more to Turkey Al Sheikh and Sella and company over there.
Oh, I know.
And with that situation right there, you know, you got you got Eddie Hearn saying that he's possibly thinking about getting into MMA, and see Turkey and Dana
No,
White,
Turkey
they're
wants him in
not
the
on one
MMA.
accord. That's one
No,
thing
they're
that
not.
people's not understanding about their situation, that they're not on one accord for real. Because if Turkey's able to make deals with these other promoters, when Zulfa and TKO supposed to be his baby, and having Dana White, run that portion of this new boxing league that he's trying to have going on with Dana White. Why is he in the mix with these other guys and supporting these other guys like this? And Dana White, he's a very strong-headed guy. We seen it when Turkey was trying to announce something at the Bud Crawford and Canelo press conference.
Hmm.
Turkey's want to announce something, and Dana was like, "Nah, we ain't announcing that." And you remember when we did our, our first reader room where we, talked about with Eddie Hearn. Eddie
Yeah.
Hearn, he he said that Dana White and Turkey's going to bump heads because of both of their egos on, and they both
Hmm.
have different thoughts and different mindsets on and views on stuff that they want to do, and that's going to clash. And Turkey is the guy that if you don't do what he says you want him to do, he cutting your head off.
That's crazy.
And Dana White doesn't serve as a guy that looks like he's going to just, you know, just bow down and, let, the work do itself and just, do whatever Turkey tells him to do.
He's not.
The money would only be the reason why he does so. It's just nasty work, sis. It's really nasty work. It really is.
Well, we
Like, just,
already know that Eddie Hearn is on his knees. We been knew that. But more importantly, he's 100% correct, because that's what I think he meant by that comment. He's not going to do what he's told. I will. You know what I'm saying? Because he probably knows that Dana White probably got some other shit up his sleeve. I believe he's going to use Turkey's money to build as much, of this business as he can, and then tell him to kick rocks.
man, sis, oh my God, that's crazy. That's a really crazy process, though, because you thinking the same way I am. We read in the room with it. Like, it looks like this. And I said this over the past few weeks that I don't think that relationship with Dana White and Turkey is going to work within what they have going on. I don't think it's going to last. That's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And we'll no, we're gonna definitely see for sure. But it just shows you though, this this boxing, I always say this with boxing. Boxing is the dirtiest sport there is. It's so many dirty aspects from this sport that's been going on over 100 some years within this sport. From you do it on your boxing dirty streak secrets, is where you didn't expose a lot of stuff, for as the mob, the mafia, and you know so much different stuff, for us,
I just
TV
exposed Dana White's in
scandals
their
and
little, yeah, their TKO league. I just did one on that the other day.
yeah,
About how many things they have acquired while we're sleeping, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? The majority stake they now own in the zone. They have part of ESPN. They've now have MSNBC in Africa along with half of Saudi Arabia, which means they're getting ready to control the entire media. You think that boxing scene got booted out of the Canelo versus Crawford fight? That was only the beginning. That's why
facts,
I said y'all keep on begging Turkey to put on y'all fights. Okay, okay, okay.
facts.
Look up, y'all ass
And,
ain't even
and
gonna have a
not even
promotion
looking at the
company in
market
Ennis.
of how it is. Like he just took Berturbiev off the card for November 22nd.
I saw that. I reported on that on my news portion. Baturian has an injury or something, so they say.
Yeah, I didn't hear about no injury from Turvey. From what I see the video clip of him for training the other day. So I didn't hear about the injury portion
Mm-hmm.
of that, but that's weird that
Mm-hmm.
they took him off the card though. Like, cause you, I mean, all right, something say when something happened with Yardy, then who you gonna replace him with?
That's a
See,
good
this
question.
goes into the Turkish matchmaking where like I remember seeing um Oscar De La Hoya's tweet a couple weeks ago where he said, "Turkey, fire your matchmakers."
Yeah. Yeah, man.
Said that Turkey's matchmakers is horrible. Like, no, Turkey. I said Turkey is a guy that has a lot of these fighters' numbers, and he's directly calling these guys and trying to make fights, and he seriously is. Keyshawn Davis in the interview, he the one that exposed that. He said it himself. He said that man called Teofimo Lopez when I met that man the first time I met him. Say I called he called Teofimo Lopez was trying to make the fight happen, and Teofimo Lopez was on the phone acting shell shocked like he didn't know what to say.
Yeah, that's because he's not supposed to do that. So why these trainers are allowed, why these, boxing promoters are allowing him to get so close to their fighters, who knows? Because there's supposed to be a buffer. You know what I'm saying? A wall in between him and your fighter.
Absolutely. Your Cash Sports over Cash Sports said that's what you call corruption. For
Amen.
real.
Talk about it.
It really is. It truly is. Like, just think, the man Turkey done bought Ring Magazine to fuel all of his propaganda that he wants to spill out there on the internet and bought out, Michael Benson. Michael Benson was a guy that had, he was just making a lot of reports for us, boxing on his Twitter page. He bought out Michael Benson's Twitter page and made it Ring Magazine.
I remember that. He wanted to
Bought out
inherit
Mike
those
Coppinger from
followers.
ESPN.
Yep.
Even Jay Donovan from Boxing Scene, he's over there on Ring Magazine. I just noticed that. Like, he's over there on Ring Magazine. And shit, Boxing Scene, they can't even cover no fights with Ring Magazine or Riyadh season. Because they don't rock with Boxing Scene. And they ain't covered the fight since the Canelo Majimov, I mean, the Bull Crawford Majimov card last year.
Nope.
You got the Inside the Ring, this new show with, he done got Max Kellerman back into the game to fuel a lot of his, propaganda that he wants to spill. Along, he has Mike Coppers on the show. Then he got Shady McCoy, NFL, retired player. Which is, I love Shady McCoy in football, but why the hell is he on the show in boxing? I'm trying to
That's the
understand.
million
Like,
dollar
he's
question.
a pure cat. He don't know the sport. Like, I don't know why he's on the show. Max Kellerman that came back and got worse. We already know Mike Coppinger. Mike Coppinger, he been on his knees for Turkey from out the gate.
Yeah, Max Kellerman
So I
really
mean, you see
disappointed
the
me because
moves that
I
Turkey
liked
makes,
him.
like with Ring Magazine, like a lot, like the rankings and all of that shit. Like Shakur being up 135, he's number one at 135. Like that's nasty work.
Yeah,
Like,
super
you know what I'm saying? A
nasty.
lot of people don't feel
It's
Shakur's the best fighter at 135.
First of all, it's heavily. That's what I said, in my video. He's controlling what now his own sanctioning bodies, the rankings, and he's controlling the press and the media. So he's putting them basically, essentially, in a golden cage. He's eliminating any other type of promotional companies, i.e., eliminating any type of competition. They're going to go from, independent contractors to employees.
Facts is facts. And like I look at the propaganda that's used fuel through Ring Magazine where it's like everybody goes along with everything that be reported from them guys. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then like they don't see the propaganda where like they try to paint, crazy narratives on certain people within the website from IG and Twitter and Facebook. and on the actual YouTube channel for Ring Magazine. It's a lot of crazy propaganda that they push. Like you seen how they was doing with Tank after the Rose fight. Like, no, it was trolling Tank and doing a whole bunch of extra shit. Like
That's
that's
what I
why I
mean.
said,
It's
like
not.
with boxing,
It,
it's so much of a messy ass dirty sport, sis. It's
and
so messy dirty in so many aspects.
Shame on Oscar for selling the Ring magazine. The Ring magazine used to be a respected entity. It was supposed to be an independent,
Right.
profile, like the Bible of boxing is what it was once called. But now, like you said, it's nothing but a propaganda machine. That's all it is.
It really is. It's like it don't have no integrity to it. No integrity to it anymore. And that's what and it hurts because we used to call, like you said, we call it the Bible of boxing, about the Bible of boxing, and it has no integrity to the at all. This is for, like, boxing is a gentleman's sport. Like, it's a lot of respect and pain in that ring when these guys be in that ring. But the way the business and everything is set up now, they make it not a gentleman's sport anymore. That's why I've been
Yeah.
feeling like it's been so fried, like the space of, like, far as like within YouTube and on these social platforms that we be on, talking boxing with a lot of people and stuff. I felt like a lot of the conversations hasn't been intelligent enough for me to even, conquer and have with a lot of people, to where you have some of these conversations when we talk about an Albert Bill. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, Shakur ain't no Shakur. He ain't scared of Albert Bill. Yeah, Shakur may not be on this. He may not be scared for Albert Bill to fight him, but his handlers is
And more importantly than that, his handlers don't believe in him enough to put him in the ring with Albert Bell. Let's take it there.
absolutely." Like, that's what I'm saying. People just gotta read the room and read. Like, a lot of the stuff within boxing is very simple logic. Some of this stuff ain't no hard at all. It's not hard at all to see a lot of stuff through and through within this sport. A lot of this stuff is very easy to see, and I see through a lot of shit. I read the room. I know my sis reads the room very well. I got a lot of people that I talk boxing with that do read the room very well, to where we can have intelligent boxing conversation even if we agree to disagree. You know what I'm saying? Like last night with Tony, like, salute to Tony's reviews. Like, some of his takes, I don't agree with Tony. Tony reviews at times, but he gained a lot of respect from me last night because he is passionate and he does care about the sport. And some of the takes that he had, he brought into, it wasn't just it coming for hate for a certain fighter. It was coming from unbiased perspective from him, in a sense. You know what I'm saying? Where, like, I respected a lot of stuff from Tony reviews last night on your show last night, sis, for sure. Which is, I can respect those type of conversations if a guy disagrees with me, but we so we're so logical with the situation and cordial, where we can agree to disagree, and we both have our set of views and stuff, but we both learn from each other in that conversation, within that conversation.
Facts.
Like, we don't get that many opportunities for that, in
Yeah.
particular, and with a lot of these guys, you know what I'm saying, where, a lot of these guys just be want to argue, just come up on our channels and on our panels just to come up and hate half of the time on a particular fighter because they don't like a particular fighter.
Well, that's definitely the truth. And that's why you kind of gotta just kind of educate certain people, and and we talked about this in extension about only inviting certain people on your panels to kind of get a more like of a educated, like you said, even if you disagree, still just kind of be respectful and at least have some sort of basis for your argument instead of emotional. Because that's where a lot of these people's arguments come from. They come from an emotional place, not a standpoint of facts, you know?
Absolutely, man. For sure, man. Sis. So this was a great one, sis, man, for sure, man. I enjoyed this one, man. Having this great conversation with you, sis. You already know we got to cook up another one. We're gonna do it on your channel on this one on Reader Room this week. So we gotta stay consistent with it. So yeah, I can say it's on me on one while we ain't did it in a couple weeks. It's on me. I put it on me on that one. But
It's not been a lot going on besides some little trinky stuff. But this was
yeah,
good to do
like
after the big fight. You know, it don't got to be no crazy big thing. It's when things happen. That's why we got to read the room. Let people know what's really going on
absolutely.
behind the shit that they see. Because a lot of things are smoke and mirrors. They want you to look over here so they can pull that bullshit over there. You know.
See, Cash Sports, he said they used to call boxing the red light district of sports. Man, that's deep. That's deep right there. That's deep.
Yeah.
And it just within the boxing space, I just want to let this be clear and want to put this in the atmosphere for everyone within myself and my sister. Like we put a lot of work in behind this content. I truly want to acknowledge that and put that out there. That like it be times for shows like on Wednesday when I'm live every Wednesday at 6:30. If I go, I may mess around and be like, hey, I'm gonna be live 6:45, 7 o'clock. But it's because I'm preparing so well for the show to where like I wanted to make sure I delivered the best content possible for you guys. Like and definitely want to, you know, give content that y'all can give out to other people as well, and and learn from the sport too. It's all about trying to educate people as well within the sport and grow the sport and elevate the sport within my own way where you'll see me talk about these guys' resumes and stuff because I feel like resumes are important to watch. You know what I'm saying? To look at. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, sis. Like you posted a question on your show last night to where does resumes tell a story? And I know, and I said no, they definitely tell a lot of story on who you are as a fighter, who you are, as far as your team on getting you the fights and stuff, and as far as particular fights that you're getting. You know what I mean? Like it definitely tells a story in so many different ways.
No, it absolutely does. And I get like the answers were varied across the board, which is a good thing, right? Because that was the point of the question to spark dialogue. But we also have to keep in mind that it is a compound and a complex question. There is no right answer, guys. So whether you think it does or it doesn't, I think it does or it doesn't, because like you said, Tony made a lot of good points. Although, it was kind of a blend, you know what I'm saying? To where it was like, okay,
Yeah,
Tony, I could take half of what you said and half of what I said, and I'll be good with that, right? Not 100% what I said, not 100% what you said, but a little half and half I can kind of live with. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely get that, and I understand some people don't think that if a fighter goes on to be great after you beat them, that matters. To me, it does. Some people share my opinion, some people don't, and I'm okay with that. It's the people that get
absolutely.
emotional that I have a problem with.
Right. And right now within the space though, we've been having I've been feeling like the boxing space on not even just YouTube, just all of the social platforms. It's been so it's been mad. This is like the motherfuckers been making the game so mad where like I've been feeling like I've been like I said it on a post I said earlier this week, a few days ago, I said I feel like I've been in a room full of mass elements. Like where I feel like I'm not having many intelligent boxing conversations because you got so many people just trying to defend and and have debates over everything, and a lot of these shits don't be about no debating for real. A lot of this shit don't be worthy for myself to debate half of the time or anything. It's just it's all about just having those those intelligent conversations within the sport and elevating the sport in our own way and elevating these fighters. There's so many fights to talk about, but I always been saying this over the last couple of months, where a lot of you guys out there, y'all only want to talk about 5 to 10 fighters when there's thousands of them out there. Y'all only want to talk about two handful of fighters, and that's not growing the sport when we be on that type of timing. Like it really doesn't. You know what I'm saying? You got these content creators out there. They want to sit there and create content on no particular fighters' names just to get their views and they clout up and all of that shit. And then they telling lies and painting false narratives. I'm gonna tell you right now over here on CamJNetwork. That's why my new moniker, I like to go by the new moniker Mr. Receipts, because I like to keep receipts on a lot of the shit that be going on with the sports and show y'all visuals of what's going on within the sport from these fighters and et cetera. We don't have no reason to paint no false narratives over here on CamJNetwork nor Jack Queen Boxing in any circumstance or any way, because of the fact that it doesn't do me justice to take time out of my day to sit there. I go to work, then I come home, I'm putting content together, then I'm like, oh, we gonna go ahead and shit on this fighter and shit on that fighter and shit on this narrative and paint this narrative and do this and do that. I don't have the time of my day to do that. And then I am built off of integrity within my brand to where I feel like I'm my thoughts, my my takes, my opinions on within the sport, within boxing, is all of my thoughts to where I be one. It's therapy for me to come out and talk boxing with you guys and stuff because I be having a lot of thoughts on certain particular situations within the sport and certain things, and I be wanting to come out there and give my opinions and takes on. That's why I do this, and I do this to elevate the sport mainly because the sport, we know this is a dirty ass sport, and everybody has to think about what they're doing within their channel, within their brand, on what's what do they really want to do at the end of the day with their brand? Do they want to make an impact within the sport to where they can help the sport, or you're just going to be that content creator that's going to be within the sport and trying to get money and get your views and paint false narratives and be on bullshit timing and only talk about 5, 10 fighters and don't elevate the sport? That's what us as content creators got to think about. What impact, what way within the sport you're going to be able to impact within the sport. And I think about it like every day, no cap. Like, and that's why, like, when I do content, I always think about it's always a message behind what I'm saying for us, like whatever topic I got going on. And like tonight, like me and sis, we our read the room show. Like tonight, the message behind Albert Bill is he's a fighter that he's a talented fighter that's not getting the opportunities and getting blown away from some of these other top names that don't want to fight him among his weight class. And a lot of people don't acknowledge these stories enough. And that's why, me and my sis, like we're here to, elevate the game and show you these type of things and show you a lot of these things within the sport because a lot of this stuff be different, man. It really does. This is a real nasty work sport up here for real, man. For real. It's to tell you for sure because she does her homework and she grinds hard. Like I know how hard Jazz Queen Boxing works on this shit. Like, what I'm saying? Sis works hard as hell on this shit, more than a lot of you niggas out there. No cap. Like work way more harder than a lot of you niggas. Way more knowledgeable than a lot of you niggas. And we got people within the sport too trying to shit on our women within the sport too, which is I want to go ahead and address that too, because you got people up within the sport that trying to downplay the women within the sport, and I don't agree with that shit at all because I feel like the women is here to uplift the sport as well, and they bring us something different to the game. And a lot of these women that's within the space, they talk boxing better than a lot of you niggas for real. Like that's the God honest truth. And then I be seeing a lot of men be trying to, come on some of these women panels and try to be aggressive and override them on their panels and shit. Nah, that shit corny, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like you can agree to disagree without the emotions within your opinions. I'll be seeing that with a lot of you guys. Like, and y'all be trying to, downplay the women within the sport. You know what I'm saying, and not support the women when even with the fights within the women, for us the fight the women's that's fighting, like the women's that's fighting, like the women that fights, the women fighting better than a lot of the niggas too. Like y'all don't
That's
even
a
want to go
damn
there.
fact. That's a
Like
damn
some of the
fact.
women banging and they fight more than the dude, and they only got 2 minutes to get their shit off.
Mhm. Mhm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Like we gotta respect the women within the boxing sports, whether it's the fighters, the content creators, etc. We gotta respect the women within the sport too, because the women is very valuable within the sport too, and the women does help bring eyes to the sport too. Like we gotta. That's just I wanted to put that out there, sis, on that.
For sure. And like you said, I think that's why I get so upset when people be like, "Oh, who is that guy?" It's like, bro, do your damn homework, and maybe you'll know who these guys are. So that is another reason why we decided, we're gonna start digging and see who has really been out there, who's really good, but he's not maybe a more household name. So we're gonna do our best to start bringing those guys to y'all as well to make sure that y'all are just knowledgeable. So when you hear a name like Albert Bell or Elijah Pierce or a Lavars Carter or somebody, you're kind of familiar with who those guys are, and you'll know that they're about to give y'all a good fight. You know what I'm saying? So y'all just got to really take the time to educate yourself. What I'm noticing is a lot of people, if they don't already know, some sort of background about a person, they really don't care. It's just the jingly names. You know what I'm saying? The names that sometimes are just names on paper because they've been super matched well. You know what I'm saying? So it's always, that's why there's upsets, right? Because it's like you ain't expect this guy to come in here and do that. That might have been a guy that was waiting for his shot 2 or 3 years. You know, what was that Cedric joke? I'm just waiting for a chance to show my ass. You know what I'm saying? So some of these guys get in here, man, and that's their shot. They want time to shine. So
For
we just
real.
gotta definitely give these guys credit, man. And more importantly, we have to really stop shitting on these boxers. Because most importantly, can't none of your asses beat them. So that's the first thing. So that's the first damn thing we gotta realize. So I don't know, but I am going to be doing my best on the my new segment next to Jab to bring up some of the guys that are coming
Yeah,
up
let them
now, the
know
guys
everything you got going,
and
sis,
the
real quick
girls.
before we get out of here.
Yeah, yeah, the guys and the girls. We're going to be interviewing some of the ones fresh out of the Olympics or that only have a couple of fights. I know Rashida Ellis just fought the other night, Friday night, if I'm not mistaken. That was her pro debut. She won, which is the sister of Rashidi Ellis. So there's some women coming into the game that's trying to shake some shit up. We got Sharita Metcalf. She's fighting this weekend on the 18th. She will be doing 3-minute rounds. I don't know how many of y'all got a chance to check out my video that I did. They're really banding together for this 3-minute round shit. That's why Amanda Serrano dropped her belt. That's why Alicia Bumgarner dropped her belt for the WBC.
Uh,
I think it's the WBC because they do not want to permit them to fight 3-minute rounds. And now look, Alicia Bumgarner on the undercard of Jake and Tank will be fighting a 3-minute round fight. So slow progress is a process, but we working though. You know what I mean? So y'all just stay tuned. We got some real good stuff for y'all in store and some education, most importantly. Education and good conversation, adults only. And that's my
Absolutely,
take on it.
absolutely. Yeah, myself. Of course, I'll be live Wednesday, 6:35. I say 6:35 p.m. Eastern time for sure. I'll be live Wednesday. Sorry, but not sorry. Boxing Talk Wednesdays, man. I'm definitely going to have a lot more content rolling this week, though. For sure, for as the boxing side, because it's some stuff that I definitely been wanting to put out and stuff, but I ain't had the opportunity to do so in recent time. But we'll get a little bit more back to consistency this week with a lot of the content, what I'm saying, daily within the sport and everything. And stay tuned to us, man. Read the room. Episode 3 will be on the way this week. We'll definitely, cook up and with our new show that we had, man, me and Sis and Jacqueline. No, we working hard. So we working hard. So y'all just gotta stay tuned to our journey and support us, man. Subscribe to both of us and support the journey that we have going on. And we're just trying to have these great intelligent boxing conversations and educate in the process. And just got to stay tapped in with us, man, for sure, man, for sure. This is definitely another lit one for sure. Y'all watch us on the playback. Make sure y'all hit that like button. Sub to both of us, Dad Queen Boxing, CamJNetwork for sure. And stay tuned. Stay tuned in. We working.
We walking.
You already know. And we out of here. Salute to everybody that joined the chat today. What I'm saying? I already know it's NFL Sunday and everything, but y'all watch it on the playback. Y'all gonna enjoy it for sure, man. That was a dope conversation. And we out of here, sis.
All
Salute.
right, holla at you.
All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby.